What's going on, everybody? Radio here, and we are back with another video. As you guys might know, not only I look at AI development videos and positive things about I also try to look at people's negative opinions about AI and skeptics talking about AI and kind of raising the concerns. And so maybe I can be considerate. I can be more considerate of those concerns, and I want to have a more nuanced view of everything because just the blind fanaticism is just not the way. And I'm a big believer of the more you know, the more you listen to people, the better you can form an opinion. Now, there is something as the decision paralysis where you just you just get overwhelmed with information. You can't make a decision for yourself and move on with your life. But for things like this, especially where you don't need to make a decision, you just gotta try to have a nuanced opinion. It's good to listen to all different sides and skeptics, enthusiasts, everybody in between. It's fun to listen to them. We watched another video of another skeptic a little while ago, and he raised good concerns, and he definitely made me think twice about what we are pushing in the world. And hopefully our friend here at Infographic Show with the insiders are hiding the truth about AI limits with video can enlighten me a little bit more. So yeah, let's get into it.
We just spent $285 billion building what people are calling a digital god that can solve the International Math Olympiad problems in seconds, and yet show it a wall clock and it gets it wrong about half the time. That should worry you, not in a "this is interesting" way, but in a "we might not actually understand what we just created" way. Because right now there
is some merit to what he's saying, because even if you get like the smartest people, a lot of them agree that they don't know how they have the idea. Well, the simple ideas are there on how machine learning and LLMs operate, right? But why it specifically comes to that conclusion, they don't know. And it's like a black box of information, and they just keep training it, and hoping that the more compute they give it, the more training it has, it'll get better, which we have seen. It improves bounds and leaps when provided with all those criterias. But at the same time, it fails at some of the most basic tasks. Is it possible that those tasks are just not suitable for like an artificial intelligence that is more focused on numbers and code, and reading like a physical clock is something more geared towards humans? So it never needed to even train on that. And even if it trains on that, it will never be as good as that as it is in coding, right? So what I'm trying to do is try to distinguish between human things that AI is not good at, and AI things that humans are, may not be as good as AI, like coding, like math, things of that nature. So in my opinion, it's just two different types of work, and AI is just more suitable for mathematical and coding work. Now, that's not to say, hey, we should leave everybody that's hyping AI alone because they just make all these grand claims and grand gestures. That it should definitely raise some concerns.
delusion spreading through Silicon Valley. 73% of insiders think AI will change everything. Only 10% of the public wants it. So which is it? The greatest breakthrough in...
And I will say, if things were better in America, more people would want it. I think things are so bad, the future is so grim, that people can't even consider the good parts about AI. And the threat and the negative parts about AI just outweighs the positive qualities of AI for them. So I think this is a little bit of a leadership problem and a governance problem, where things have gotten so bad that the general populace is always on the edge, and always they're already living paycheck to paycheck. They're being strained financially, and now they have to worry about computers and robots replacing them in a very near future. Very near future, as in like next year, as in 2 years from now. So the paychecks I'm collecting might be over in a few years, and we have to figure out a different way to have an income, if even having an income is a possibility, right? So I definitely get it. And I think that if things were better, people's opinions will be more, they would be more receptive and more warmer on AI.
Human history, or a multi-billion-dollar misunderstanding of what people actually need. This is why AI trust is collapsing. Ever since AI burst onto the scene with bold promises, it's been a strange and uneven journey for early adopters. It works as a highly advanced mechanical Turk, programmed to accomplish specific tasks. But whether it passes muster depends specifically on the success conditions. In tasks with a highly specific and objective condition, it is incredibly good. The software has been shown to pass the bar exam with ease, an incredibly challenging legal quiz that would-be lawyers study for months for, simply by scanning all its accessible data for the answers. But lawyers who use it to create depositions and legal papers, they've often been in for unpleasant surprises. AI has been found to hallucinate fictional cases to make the case for its side, leading more than
Yeah, that's a pretty famous story, and the lawyers were pretty freaking dumb for not researching and looking up the sources that AI cited. It is a very interesting point he brings up. I never thought about it that way. The success conditions definitely do play a big part in how AI will get results. And if the success conditions are more vague and human-centric, as in presenting evidence in a courtroom, presenting an argument in the courtroom, and trying to persuade the judge and the jury to be on your side, that's something AI can't comprehend, right? They're more geared towards, hey, these are the facts, right? These are the information that's available to me. And if they don't have the information that will help you, they'll make it up because they are programmed to help. So they think that by making it up, they can help you. It's pretty embarrassing.
one lawyer to be reprimanded by the judge or even threatened with disbarment for trying to present a fraudulent case based on AI. So why does AI get so many things right and so many wrong? AI experts have studied the system's ups and downs and discovered some shocking shortfalls. It fails to identify simple facts like counting the number of R's in the word strawberry, or it incorrectly identifies the time shown on an analog clock, a common error made 50% of the time by models. And sometimes these mistakes can be dangerous. Google's AI summaries responded to a joke query of how many rocks should I eat by telling people to eat 1 rock a day, based on an article from the satire website The Onion. AI gets the big things right, but often gets tripped up on the little things. It's called the jagged frontier, and it calls everything into question. As of February 2020,
I would say it's also because, number one, we should be thankful of our human brain, and we don't use it as often. Human brain is very good and capable at a lot of things that AI is not even good at. Human brain is good at portraying emotion and creativity that is not seen in AI because AI is not creative. AI just draws upon its previous knowledge, right? But humans can be original. They can be creative, and we've seen it time and time again. Human brain is good at improvising and thinking on the spot, whereas in AI always need to have something built so that they can build upon it. Also, the human brain enjoys fun, excitement, and being silly, whereas in AI doesn't have any concepts of those. It can mimic being silly, but it's not really a silly person, a funny person. And I think that's we underestimate how good the human brain is, and we want to make sure we want to be able to replicate it because we don't value it enough to understand that like this might be something that we cannot replicate. And the human brain has evolved so much over so many years that at this point, if you're blessed with a functioning brain, you are doing way better than anything else, any other species in this world, because you're a human and you got a functioning brain and you can actually go about your life and enjoy things that that AI can't enjoy, animals can't enjoy, and there's concepts you can understand that AI can't do that. So just for the fact that you are human is pretty amazing, and the fact that you're able to function alongside humans is pretty amazing, and that's something we shouldn't take for granted.
$285.9 billion had been invested in AI in the U.S. alone,
That's
seeking to
insane.
enhance the technology and compete in what's essentially becoming a tech arms race. A yearly investment of $25.2 billion in generative AI is the cost of building 17 Burj Khalifas, But the progress for AI hasn't been smooth. Huge gains are countered with sudden setbacks. Ethan Mollick, the writer of the paper identifying this problem, argued that AI simply doesn't learn the same way humans do. It makes the same mistakes repeatedly. And as people charge full speed ahead into the AI-driven future, those unexpected shortfalls could be dangerous. If the tech powers have their way, it'll be in every single part of our lives. But now people are saying enough. Talk to anyone about AI and you'll hear a divided story. On one side, there are the early adopters, the people who can't stop talking about how it's transformed their work, their creativity, even their daily lives. On the other, a quieter but rising group is beginning to push back. People who are proud to have never used it, accusing every...
Hey, I don't know about quieter but rising. AI haters seem to be pretty loud to me, dude. I'm not saying the AI lovers aren't. And I have a whole fucking channel making videos about AI, right? But a quiet but rising group that hates AI, I don't know about that. They're pretty loud and obnoxious, to be honest. And they have their own reasons to be, and I'm not trying to downplay their arguments and all that. But I will push back on the quiet part.
Query of stealing art and poisoning the environment. Like every controversial issue, both sides have vocal activists, and it seems evenly split. But the reality of the data paints a very different picture. The Stanford AI Index has been tracking people's views of artificial intelligence both in and out of the industry since 2017. Every year, a more dramatic shift emerges. Right now, there is one group that believes fully that AI is on the upswing, and the future only means good things. The problem is, those are the people involved in AI. 73% of experts expect a positive impact from further investment into AI. They have been consistently pitching it to companies both in and out of the tech sector as the solution to their problems. But the general public paints a very different picture. When you head into the larger audience, AI support doesn't just fall, it drops off a cliff. Only 23% of Americans see a positive impact from AI, with most worried about a massive loss of jobs as AI automates one industry after another. Only 10% say they're more excited than worried. That is lower than the number of people who think the moon landing is fake. This isn't just a difference of opinion, it is the biggest disconnect between the public and financial elites since 2008, when blind confidence helped trigger the worst crash since the Great Depression. And the experts still aren't worried. They believe everything will fix itself once AI hits its next milestone. But this isn't just optimism, it's an echo chamber.
Hey, that was a clear ChatGPT. This is not this, it's that. He's bringing up some good points, and I can see definitely the people who are hyping up AI seem to be, they are the people who will benefit from it across the board, who are benefiting from it right now, and who and it's people with expertise that can navigate that world. I think a part of the negativity towards AI is a lot of people aren't as tech savvy to work with AI on deeper levels, right? That's like when the truck drivers, there was telling truck drivers and trade workers, hey, go learn code. Or people that work blue collar jobs but they're out of work, hey, go learn code. It's not everybody can do that, right? And even if I'm an enthusiast, I have a hard time trying to understand AI at deeper levels, right? And I have to really take my time and really digest the information. But I think that's also a part of it, where the experts and the people who know how to navigate and use it obviously see all the benefits, and the general public, how tech savvy is the general public, right? They can download an app, they can browse a website, they can set up small things here and there, but can they automate a workflow? Can they set up AI agents? I had a hard time setting up AI agents. Can they troubleshoot and understand the steps of the work so that they can work their way backwards and see where the issues are? Can they communicate with AI effectively so that not only they save tokens, but able to get to the point and get good answers out of the AI, instead of AI just kind of running in circles and just giving you nonsense answers? So I think that's also a part of it, is you have to want to learn more about technology, about software, about development, to be as positive as the experts are on this technology.
You spend enough time looking at stories about the economy, markets, and where everything might be headed, it's easy to get stuck in this mindset where you feel like you need to have everything figured out immediately. Like if you can't solve the whole picture at once, you just stay stressed, overthink it, and you don't know where to start. And I think that is something a lot of people can relate to because life is like that too. Sometimes the pressure isn't one huge dramatic thing, it's just the constant weight of uncertainty, stress, and feeling like you're supposed to have all the answers right now. That's one reason therapy can be so valuable. It gives you space to slow down, so manageable it is, and get matched with a licensed therapist. Sometimes through Math Olympiad to betterhelp.com/infographics to get 10% off your first month of therapy. AI experts point to impressive feats like AI ripping its way through Math Olympiad, solving PhD-level science questions, or analyzing statistical data. And in those areas, AI has been showing incredible progress. AI agents handling cybersecurity issues showed a 93% success rate in 2025, up from only 15% the previous year. But just because AI is performing doesn't mean it's thinking. Tech experts love to say that the doubters are just stubborn, resistance is just temporary, and everyone falls in line once it becomes unavoidable. But what if that assumption?
I don't like how he's speaking with authority, but it's also hyperbolic. Obviously, not all experts are saying that, and to be honest, most experts are saying we're cooked. This is the craziest thing ever. I keep coming back to this example. Dario Amodei is one of those experts. The CEO of Anthropic is one of the biggest boogeymen that's just scaring everybody from AI. So how can you say, oh, experts are saying these are doubters, everything's gonna be good, when they're not? And that's kind of the problem I have with our friend here. Is I understand his argument, and he's making a good argument. It's just that some parts of the argument doesn't land with me because it's not true at all. And if anything, things are more on his side anyways, right? But why are you trying to paint a picture of, number one, just because you're an expert doesn't mean you're hyped about it. Number two, that just because you're an expert doesn't mean you don't care about other humans and you're on the side of annihilation. So I just don't like the way he's painting anybody that has any sort of expertise in AI as these blind followers that want to doom us all. Because what it leads to is anti-intellectualism, right? It's anti-progress. And even when AI has proven to be beneficial to humanity, it's literally been finding cancer in people. It literally works in pharmaceutical companies to find medicine. There is a real-time translation so that people can communicate better with each other. So it's just a very one-sided. It's just a very one-sided argument that I'm seeing here, and there's no nuance to it. So maybe nuance is gonna come a little bit after.
Assumption is wrong. What if this time it's different? From day one, AI companies have been selling a vision, not just better tools, but a quantum leap in intelligence. They tap into something people already recognize, the version of AI we've seen in movies. An all-powerful system, fully autonomous, capable of reasoning, deciding, even running the world better than humans. And at the center of it all is one idea: the singularity, the moment AI surpasses human intelligence entirely. And everything hinges on it. The believers say we have to push harder, invest more, because on the other side is a utopia. But the skeptics, they see something else. They see all the moments AI fails. But what if neither is right? What if AI is simply an illusion of intelligence? A June 2025 Apple study sent ripples through the tech world when it—
Brother, this fucking study, bro. This fucking study really... Any sort of skeptic is just harping up on this study when it's... Hold on. It's just... Sorry, guys. This is a little bit of a detour. I just want to address the Apple argument because everybody and their mother, as soon as they're a skeptic of AI, they go find this fucking study, and it's just like, oh yeah, here you go. It's not thinking. It's not... the reasoning is not real. All right. So this is what Apple did. So we're going to read what Apple did, what Apple found, and then we're going to read Anthropic's rebuttal. of this so that you guys can get both sides of it. So it's not like a black and white type of thing. All right, it's not unilateral that AI is not reasoningly proved that we're not going to use it. Like, no, that's not what it says. That's not what it says at all. And I guess I don't know. I added we're not going to use it, but you know what I mean. It's just very frustrating when skeptics kind of point this out, and I just want to get a definitive point of view so that we can see both sides and move on with our lives and have better studies that will give us more insight, right? Okay. Apple chose a set of classic logic puzzles and planning problems to serve as their testing ground. These included the Tower of Hanoi, a puzzle about moving discs between pegs with specific rules, the river crossing puzzle, famous missionaries and cannibals problem and variants, a blocks world planning task, and a checkers jump puzzle. These puzzles have a long history in AI and cognitive science, and importantly, they allowed the researchers to dial up the difficulty in a controlled way. The more discs in Hanoi, more people or constraints in the river crossing, etc., etc., while keeping the logical structure similar. The AI models, including Anthropic's Claude, DeepSeek's R1, OpenAI's O series, so this is how old it is. O was still going on when this was happening. Now we're at 5.5. O is dead and buried, among others. Were asked not only to solve each puzzle, but to explain their reasoning step by step using chain of thought. Or whenever you ask AI for something and you press the reasoning button, that block that it thinks through before answering. This means the model's full answer would include a detailed list of moves or internal narrative of how it tried to solve the puzzle, not just the final solution. What Apple found is that as the puzzles got harder and required more steps, the model's success rates dropped dramatically. For low complexity versions of the puzzles, the AI systems did quite well. For medium complexity, the specialized reasoning models still held up and even outperformed standard models that don't show their work. So right then and there, the reasoning models doing better than the regular model. But beyond a certain point, performance fell off a cliff. On the most complex tasks, none of the models could find the correct solution, yielding essentially 0% accuracy. Perhaps even more intriguingly, Apple noted that the way the models failed was telling. The length of AI's reasoning trace, measured in how many thinking tokens it produced, actually peaked, then started shrinking as the tasks reached extreme difficulty. In other words, when faced with very complex puzzles, AIs didn't even attempt very long solutions. They produced shorter answers or gave up early, despite ostensibly still having some room to continue. Apple's interpretation was that the models were effectively abandoning the reasoning process once the problem exceeded a certain complexity, almost like a person saying, "I can't figure this out," writing nothing further. This was dubbed a counterintuitive scaling limit. More difficult problems didn't lead to AI to think more. Instead, the AIs abruptly stopped trying as soon as the puzzle got hard. And here's the result. As puzzle complexity increases, the AI model's accuracy drops steeply to 0 on the hardest instances. At the same time, the amount of thinking the models do, measured in chain of thought tokens, initially rises with complexity, but then declines at the highest difficulty. In effect, the models solve easy and moderate puzzles, but at a critical complexity, they collapse. Their performance falls to nil, and their detailed reasoning trace shortens. And this is the reasons they gave. This is the different tasks. And then this is the reasoning they gave. The reasoning chains the model produced often did not employ explicit algorithms, even when one was known. For instance, the Tower of Hanoi has a well-known recursive algorithm, but AI didn't seem to just follow that exactly. They also noticed inconsistencies. A model might solve smaller puzzles, but then nonsensically fail slightly larger ones, suggesting its logic didn't scale reliably. All these findings fed into Apple's striking conclusion that today's AI reasoning, in a sense, is an illusion. The models appear to reason on simple cases. They appear to reason on simple cases, but this doesn't fundamentally hold up as problems get harder. And this was in June 2025, and we're about to hit June 2026. A year ago, this study came out, and AI is leaps and bounds better than what it was before. So I just want you guys to remember that before we get to the counter arguments. At some point, they hit a wall and the facade of reasoning crumbles. This is Anthropic's rebuttal. Illusion of the illusion of thinking. Anthropic, an AI research firm and the creator of Claude model, was quick to respond, clearly intent on defending the idea that AI can reason if tested properly. Their rebuttal, titled The Illusion of Thinking, argued that Anthropic claimed Apple's tests had set the model up to fail. Apple's dramatic results were not proof of flawed AI reasoning, but rather proof of a flawed experiment. And this is not me saying it, this is Anthropic saying it. The people working on possibly the best AI model out there, right? Here's a breakdown of how Anthropic addressed the key issues. Hitting the token limit, output length constraints. One of Anthropic's biggest points was that Apple's Tower of Hanoi experiment was essentially forcing the AI to produce huge outputs, so large that they would exceed the model's maximum output length, its context window. They would exceed the context window. It couldn't remember what the fuck was going on. For example, a Tower of Hanoi puzzle with 13 or more discs requires thousands upon thousands of moves to list out the solution. Anthropic and others noted that beyond roughly 13 discs, a model like Claude simply cannot print the full list of moves because it would run out of space in its answer. There is a limit on how much they can output. And this was back in the day, right? This was a year ago. The limit has increased, right? But at the same time, there's still a limit. It's a technology, there's limits to it. In fact, all models will have zero accuracy with more than 13 disks simply because they cannot output that much. That's it. That was why they failed. It wasn't that they couldn't do it. It's just that there was literally a technical limitation on what they could do in June 2025. Anthropic's paper confirms this. Apple's reported accuracy collapse coincided perfectly with puzzles that demanded more tokens than the models were allowed to output. So rather than the AI failing to reason, it literally hit a length limit. The supposed point where AI gives up was not a mysterious cognitive collapse. It was the models recognizing that the answer would be too long. Notably, Anthropic cited evidence that the models themselves knew this. In some test runs, the AI would start listing moves and then explicitly say something like, and the pattern continues, but to avoid making this too long, I'll stop here. In other words, the AI had actually found the general solution pattern, but chose to truncate its answer to comply with practical limits. Apple's automated evaluation, however, likely marked that as wrong because the full list wasn't given. From Anthropic's perspective, this is a critical distinction. The model didn't fail to solve the puzzle, it merely failed to regurgitate an extremely long answer in full. Second point Anthropic is disputing: unfair scoring on impossible puzzles. Another issue Anthropic highlighted was with the river crossing challenges. It turns out some of the hardest river crossing scenarios in Apple's tests were actually unsolvable puzzles. Specifically, Apple included instances where, say, too many people or object had to cross with too small of a boat. Mathematically, no solution exists for those conditions. That's so funny that we literally testing AI with with these stupid ass. There's a cannibal and a monk there. Who you gonna take over there? Who you gonna bring back? Oh man. I'm sorry. I just had to. This is crazy. This is crazy. The AI models often correctly realized there was no solution. They correctly realized there's no solution. I want you guys to remember that. They didn't fail at reasoning. They actually reasoned that there is no solution. Or they didn't produce one because it's impossible. But Apple's scoring treated it as a failure. Anthropic wryly noted that this is like penalizing a solver for returning unsatisfiable on an unsatisfiable problem. If a human genius declared this puzzle has no solution for an impossible riddle, we'd consider that a correct insight and not a mistake. Anthropic argued Apple's evaluation inadvertently punished the AI for being correct about the unsolvability of certain tasks. This again inflated the appearance of that the AI collapsed on hard problems, when in fact, the problems themselves were flawed. God, there's so many points. Okay, we're gonna read 3, 4, and 5, but yeah, this is a little too much. I want to get back to the video. That's fine. But here's the thing. I'm gonna read number 3, and then we're gonna go back to the video. But I'm gonna leave a link to this Medium article in the description of this video, so that you guys can read the rest of it and see the 6, 7 of it. You know. Evaluation method and hidden assumptions. More broadly, Anthropic took issue with how Apple's automated evaluation worked. Apple graded the AI's answers by checking if every step and the final answer exactly matched an expected solution. This rigid approach can misclassify outcomes. For instance, if a model solved Tower of Hanoi conceptually but didn't list every single move, maybe it skipped redundant steps or summarized, the evaluator trip me up, bro, would call it wrong even if the reasoning was essentially sound. Anthropic emphasized that a good evaluation needs to distinguish a reasoning failure from a formatting or truncating issue. Apple's setup did not do that. The result was that practical constraints like context length, formatting requirements were conflated with the model's reasoning ability. The Anthropic team urged that future tests should be designed to separate these factors. If a model doesn't output an answer because of length limit, that's very different from not understanding the problem. And then fucking some more stuff. But okay, this is interesting. So I'm gonna read this part. Proving that AI can do it. Perhaps the most compelling part of Anthropic's rebuttal was that they didn't just criticize, they went ahead and demonstrated a fix. For the Tower of Hanoi, they tried an alternative prompt. Instead of asking the model to list every move one by one, they asked it to output a small program in pseudocode or scripting language that would print the solution when run. That would print the solution when run. This dramatically reduces the required output size. For example, a Python function or recursive formula for Hanoi can generate the solution for any number of disks without explicitly listing every move within the answer. When Anthropic tested Claude and other models this way, e.g. solve Tower of Hanoi with 15 disks by giving a function that when called prints the moves, the model succeeded brilliantly. They wrote correct recursive algorithms that in theory could handle even 15 or more disks or more, 15 or more, and the whole answer fit in just a few thousand tokens, well within the model's limits. In fact, Anthropic reported very high accuracy on instances that Apple had labeled them complete failures, simply because the model was allowed to present the solution in a more compact algorithmic form. AKA, it didn't have to type out everything. It was able to actually give an answer within its context limits, right? Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Doesn't matter the number of disks, right? If you tell it to output a program, it's always 1700, always around 1700. If you ask it to list all the moves one by one, as the disks get larger, the tokens get larger. So that's a bad approach. That's bad prompting right there. So people, I'm just saying, stop mentioning this fucking, I mean, you can mention this study, but just, you gotta realize that this study was flawed. The way they measured things were flawed. And also, it was a year ago. It was literally a year ago. And AI has been getting better at leaps and bounds. It's just been jumping over everything. So I'm sorry. I just got a little pissed off at our friend here.
It casts doubt on the entire driving argument for AI. Apple was in a strange position during the AI boom. It was still one of the most powerful tech companies in the world, but its own AI efforts weren't really delivering results. There were several false starts, and after pressure from investors, it shifted direction. Instead of trying to lead the race alone, it began partnering with other companies to bring AI into its devices.
Okay, whose fault is that? It's not the AI company's fault. It's Tim Cook's fault. Or not a fault, it's a Tim Cook decision. It's a leadership decision to hang back on AI and see how it plays out, just like some of the other stuff that Apple does, where they don't jump into everything too quickly, like the foldable phones. There's been like 7, 8 versions of Samsung's foldable phones, and Apple's just coming out with the first one. So I don't want to hear it.
And that gave it something rare in the tech world: impartiality. Apple researchers dug into the primary current AI models and experimented to see which problems it could solve and which it ran into trouble with. Their studies confirmed what most people already knew: AI is amazing at determining the right answer from a collection of data, and it's able to sort through it faster than any human. But it relies on statistical analysis, and when there isn't a preponderance of information, its ability to determine the truth decreases. And the more steps, the more trouble it finds. One technique the researchers used was to present familiar mathematical problems in new formulations. They didn't give the AI the chance to use models that were already out there. There was a significant decrease in the AI's ability to determine the next step, indicating that it relied heavily on pattern recognition rather than on actual knowledge and thinking. And the more steps it had to take to solve a problem, the harder it became for it to stay on track. This became clear when it was tested on the Tower of Hanoi puzzle, a task where you move a stack of discs from one rod to another under strict rules. As the number of discs increased, the AI started to struggle. It hit repeated stumbling blocks, and eventually it seemed to give up altogether. And that might indicate that the promise of AI isn't just overstated, it could be an outright lie. To reach the singularity, AI needs to be able to solve problems like a human can. Researchers pull together data from dozens of sources, compare them against each other, and hold multiple variables in mind while building theories and testing them step by step. As new information comes in, those theories shift and adapt in real time. Chess grandmasters do something similar. They develop hundreds of strategies not just for each formulation of the board, but for each opponent they play. A human's reasoning is never quite complete, evolving with the moment. But AI isn't reasoning, it is simply matching. Those who think AI is merely a shell game point out that we have seen this before, and we didn't like it. AI is simply a much more advanced version of the autocomplete that tries to write your emails for you before you get to type, or the automated customer service agent that makes you go through all the steps before you can talk to an agent. And that's because AI predicts what the next step is likely to be and then chooses an output based on probability. It draws from enormous datasets across the internet, analyzes patterns in how language is used, and generates responses that statistically fit the prompt.
I gotta be honest, autocomplete has came a long way, and if anything, Apple's autocorrect that needs fixing. Autocomplete is fine. It's the Apple's autocorrect has been pissing me off. I don't know if any of you guys also have this issue, but it seems like with every update, I'm hoping that the autocorrect gets fixed, but it doesn't. And what happens is you type a word that you want to use, and it automatically corrects it. But then when you misspell a word and you're hoping that it would correct it, it doesn't. And it just happens over and over and over and over and over again. So that's one thing they gotta fix. But he does have a point about the about the whatchamacallit, the automated customer service. Those are freaking annoying, not gonna lie. But if anything, with AI, they'll be less annoying because you can actually communicate with it, and you can actually give it a prompt, a complex prompt, and it will understand.
Most of the time, this will resemble a baseline of an acceptable answer, but it doesn't take much to throw it off. One of the best illustrations of the problem with AI right now can be seen in a very different kind of AI system. Robotic dogs used in crowd control can move with incredible precision when everything goes as expected. Every step is calculated, every motion is tightly controlled, but that precision comes with a weakness. Even small disruptions can essentially render them useless until reset. And that is AI right now, an incredibly
I woke up today, feeling brand new, nothing in my way. Sun gon' shine, yeah, it's here to stay. And I'm gonna say what I need to say. Hey, I'm feeling free. Everybody watch, I'm doing me. Go ahead and look, cause you gon' see that I'm exactly where I'm supposed.
Did we see that? Let me just rewind that specific thing.
Free. Everybody watch, I'm doing me. Go ahead and look, cause you gon' see that I'm exactly
Do I need to play the rest of the video?
where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing me, yeah, just doing me. I'm doing me, yeah, I'm doing me. I'm doing me, yeah, just doing me. I'm doing me, yeah, I'm doing me.
convincing autocomplete that is surprisingly easy to confuse. And many say it's not worth it, especially given all it costs. Despite these lingering concerns, there's still a massive appetite for investment in AI. Those pushing the funding narrative have convinced many that the next update, the next model, will fix the current limitations, and that belief comes with a huge cost.
But they do. Wait, are we serious right now? The next update always fixes the previous update's issues. Is this guy real? Is this guy for real? Like, what more can they do? Yeah, it's not as fucking crazy, and it's not like it's not the jump that people see in movies. It's not the technological leap that we expect, but it's literal fact. Every new model update makes the models and the systems better. It's literally like just go. You can use it right now. You can go to an API provider and just get all the different models and just put them to the test. And the older model will perform worse than the newer model. The newer models always perform the best. They always understand what you're talking about way better than the older models. Not that the older models were stupid idiots, but there's literally been leaps and bounds, and especially with Mythos coming. And again, I don't want to hype up. I don't really know what. But if Mythos is what they say it is, and it's like the biggest jump, right? So that's already is happening, right? But maybe this is what he's talking about. Maybe Mythos is what he's talking about, right? So I'm not gonna discount that, and I'm not gonna use Mythos as a gotcha card, right? But it's a literal fact that every time these models update, they perform better. Look at ChatGPT Image 2. ChatGPT's Image 1 was good, but it had some weird issues. It had like a sheen on it. It wasn't producing real human-like images. Nano Banana 2 came out, and it literally wiped the floor with ChatGPT Image 2. So then what they did was they upgraded Image 1 to Image 2. And Image 2 is head and shoulders above Nano Banana 2. Is it like the best ever? No. It's not the best ever image model. It has issues. It doesn't understand use numbers. Yeah, for sure. But the results are so incredible. The results for Nano Banana 2 were good. The results for ChatGPT Image 2 are amazing. And I'm sure the next model is going to be better. So whatever he's talking about, that it's just all hype and they're duping investors, like, I don't get it. Because they literally prove it's getting better and better and better. See, I don't want to be on the side of the fucking rich and powerful, and I don't want to be on the side of the AI companies as much as you guys, right? But when there's arguments like this that is just so close-minded, and if you guys want to see me actually agreeing with AI criticism, go watch my other video that I did a few days ago that I actually conceded so many points. So I don't want to hear that I'm being unfair, where I'm being so fair. I'm being fair that I'm actually going out and giving a time of day to AI criticism and AI skepticism because I want to learn more.
Each new generation of models doesn't just require top-tier researchers, it needs massive amounts of computing power. Even before it rolled out to the public, Google's Gemini
Each generation of model needs top-tier researchers so that they can optimize it and they can train it better. What are you talking about?
Ultra cost $191 million just to train. That's the cost of a fleet of 2 modern F-35 fighter jets just on one model. And that is just scratching the surface of the cost.
Okay.
It's not just that this never-ending project costs money, it also requires an enormous infrastructure investment. The internet and all of its associated services rely on data centers to keep them up and running. The onset of AI and the mass adoption of these services led to a massive surge in demand. In 2024, there was a 690% increase.
Massive surge in demand. I wonder why. Is the demand just a few rich, powerful elites? Or is it the people that actually see the value in AI? And they're not as few as you're portraying them to be. I wonder why there's so much demand. Are they all just Fortune 500 companies that are adopting AI on a massive scale? Or is it also a lot of regular people that are interested in the technology? Like, come on, man. On one hand, you're saying 10% of the public, only 10% of the public likes this. On the other hand, you're saying there's fucking 690% demand. Like, well, let's get real, brother.
In need for AI-driven data services, and it's expected to continue rising by about a third each year. And that is not just reshaping our internet, it is reshaping our world. Data centers are cropping up around the world, taking up a huge
This
amount of
is the
available
problem,
real
not
estate.
gonna lie.
While the majority of new data centers are abroad,
we
the
need to
US
figure
holds
this
a total of
data center problem
43% of the world's facilities. And these centers use a massive amount of energy.
This is one argument that I can't, like, you know, if you're literally if you have a functioning brain, you'll understand why this is an issue. So I feel like you should have just made a video about this, bro. Your other fucking points don't even matter. But yeah, the data center problem is pretty bad, and the way things are going, it might be that we are just gonna be drowning in data centers, and it's gonna be everywhere. So I hope that's not our future, but it seems very likely that at least a lot of data centers are going to be popping up and showing up. So this point, I 100% concede, because it's a real problem, real issue. And also data centers take electricity away from the people that live there, take away resources from people that live there, pollute the, to a certain point. They pollute the environment that they're built in and all that. And on top of that, how many jobs are they going to bring? Like less than 100 for a massive data center?
Juggling millions of queries a day. That requires heavy electricity and water use, leading to the communities where they're built seeing heavier emissions, poorer air quality, and even some water shortages. Anti-AI activists have been pushing for a moratorium on data centers, citing the environmental impact. But the tech sector has pointed out that each AI query has a tiny impact, far less of a carbon footprint than eating a hamburger or driving a car. The problem is, no one is making just one query. The system has become a constant companion for many, and that adds up quickly.
Oh.
In fact,
now, 10 minutes ago, it was only 10% of the public likes it. Now it's going to be so many people working with needing so many queries. Like, which one is it, bro? Do people like it, or do people not like it? Let's go back a little bit, please.
Eating a hamburger or driving a car. The problem is, no one is making just one query. The system has become a constant companion for many, and that adds up.
The system's become a constant companion for many. Who are these many, I wonder? Are these many in the only the 10%? The 10% that you mentioned up front? And now they turn into many, and the demand is skyrocketing? Like, bro, come on, man. Talk about bad faith.
Quickly. In fact, the cost of training Grok 4 was estimated to be equivalent to the emissions of 17,000 cars over a full year. And it's not the only place where people are feeling the pain. Advocates against AI expansion may have an unusual ally: gamers. Despite usually favoring advances in technology, video game fans are experiencing the most direct consequences.
Bro, are we serious right now? There's no group. I play video games, so. And I play a lot of them. I own a lot of them. I played a lot before. I want to play more. And bro, don't come at me. But one thing is for sure. There is no group more self-righteous, more self-aggrandizing, and more self-flating than fucking people who identify as gamers. It's like let's be fucking real, bro. It was crypto before. Now it's AI, because there's literally a crunch to get as many chips as possible. You're not entitled to a fucking chip that a manufacturer makes. The needs of the world change. The demand change. It is unfortunate. It is bad. The video game prices going up. Video game console prices going up. Video game, the PC part prices going up. It is very sad, unfortunate. I'm not a fan. But at the same time, I'm not entitled to cheap fucking products, right? Because it's a hobby. It's literally a hobby. It's not essential for survival. And for the longest time, I wasn't playing video games. And I don't understand this fucking self-righteous group that thinks they're doing fucking service for the world by playing video games. Like, I'm not saying video games are bad and you shouldn't play them, but come on, bro. You're not like you're not a saint for hating AI and playing video games, right?
Of the AI surge. The cost of DDR4 has shot up by over 2,000% over the last year due to the massive demand from AI firms. Even if gamers can afford it, they may not be able to buy it. Some of the top companies that make RAM chips have gone out of the individual sales business altogether. There's a growing perception that Americans are being asked to make major sacrifices on a personal and environmental level in order to win the AI arms race. But the thing is, we might not even be doing that. The top AI firms in the world are all American, including OpenAI and Anthropic, as well as larger tech conglomerates like Google and X. When it comes to investments, there isn't even a close
I love how it just left out China. It showed China for a second and it just left it out, even though they've been making fucking leaps and bounds of fucking progress. It's just like this guy like literally sat down and tried to jumple up a lot of fucking AI criticism all in one video, and he's trying to like just fucking go through them one by one by linking them ever so slightly.
second place. The United States private sector invested over $470 billion in AI research between 2013 and 2024, with the numbers every year skyrocketing after that. In 2024 alone, the US invested $109 billion, compared to China's $9.3 billion. And all of that might not even land the US in the top 20. In terms of where new AI technology is coming from, the United States is still at the front of the pack. Countries like China, Japan, and South Korea are competing heavily, but US firms have maintained a clear lead in both capability and scale. Other countries are now actively looking to partner, license, or invest in American AI companies just to keep up with how fast the technology is advancing.
I'm gonna be honest. We already did videos about China's AI development. We know what he's saying is not true. And China's been making good progress on AI. Their models are very good and they're playing a different game. And they are competitive with America. I don't understand this fucking American dominance so that people can just only focus on Anthropic and OpenAI.
But they may wind up being a better investment in the long run because the US lags well behind the pack in terms of acceptance. Only 28.3% of the US population say they use AI regularly in their work duty.
Bro! So in one breath, he says something like this. In another breath, he says, oh, AI demands is so up. Fucking people using so many queries, so many people using so many queries. On one hand, he says only 10% have a favorable view of AI, but 28% use AI. So the 18% just don't like AI but use it anyways. Like there's a gun to their head. I know some companies there is a fucking threat to use AI, but those are like a rare instance. It's just come on, man. Come on. Like what are you talking about, dude? Why your points don't make sense, dude? Why are you using outdated arguments and outdated information to present your arguments, bro? Like this is just sad. This is just sad and annoying.
According to the Stanford AI Index, which tracks AI diffusion based on the share of people regularly using generative AI at work, the United States actually ranks around 24th, and that puts them well behind the pack. Across the world, other countries incorporate AI into their daily routines far faster than Americans. Some of the top countries included Ireland, Norway, and France.
All those countries don't have as many people as America, bro. Like, of course, like, even if like a quarter of them, less than a quarter, use AI, that's still a huge, significant number than America. Like, we're forgetting population size.
With rates in the 40s.
If
Singapore hovers
China,
at 60.9%, while the oil-rich United Arab Emirates continues its...
All countries that have like the small amount of population, bro. America has more people than all those countries combined and like a whole bunch of other ones. Like, what are we talking about?
Big tech push with a 64% adoption rate. These countries see the promise in AI and they generally view it much more positively than Americans. Which raises the question for tech executives: what is going wrong? It's not a lack of access. All the core AI technology is concentrated in the United States. Nor is it a lack of affordability, as AI has been offered to the public for free ever since the debut of ChatGPT in 2022. While most now offer premium subscriptions for heavy users, especially those who want to generate video and images, most functions are available for free at the click of a button. But there might be a cultural divide that is far harder to overcome. In Europe, some of the strongest adoption of AI has emerged in countries with a deep tradition of strong unions and labor protections. In those places, automation is often framed differently. Rather than being seen purely as a threat to jobs, it's increasingly viewed as a tool that could reduce workload, streamline repetitive tasks, and ultimately improve working conditions. In tech-oriented cultures like South Korea, the media is primed to portray new technology in a positive way. However, in the United States, the picture looks a lot less rosy, and people aren't just worried about it stealing their future. The United States has a large population and comparatively weaker social safety net than much of Europe. As a result, many people tend
Literally the stuff I was talking about earlier. So I appreciate you saying the same things I was saying.
to view AI less as a productivity boost and more as a direct threat to their livelihood. That concern has only intensified as companies experiment with replacing workers, especially in customer service and support roles with AI chatbots. In several cases, those rollouts have delivered mixed results, with firms later scaling back the automation and rehiring human staff to fill in the gaps. There's only one thing worse for a new tech innovation than looking like a problem, looking like a loser. And to many ordinary Americans right now, AI...
I don't think that's a tech problem, that's an implementation problem. Is that you don't want to spend the money to implement properly, and you don't have a vision on how AI works with your workflow, and you force it down people's throats at work, and you let go of people, and then you have to hire them back. So that's a leadership issue. That's a vision issue. That's not an AI issue, because you should already know the limitations of the tool that you are trying to implement in your work. So it's not that AI failed, it's that the leaders, the CEOs, and the people who make those decisions, they failed. So that's just my 2 cents.
Looks like both. Many investors warn that we might be reaching peak AI. Heavy investment is likely to continue, but the public isn't being won over. A minority of Americans is increasingly into AI, but they haven't shown the ability to branch out beyond that audience. And as more comes out about the technology's limitations, the fear of the jagged...
I can't believe this guy. On one breath, he says more people are adopting AI. On another breath, he says, "Oh, Americans, they can't get more people to use AI." Like, dude, come on, man. Come on, bro. Can you actually stay on one point and just have one talking point instead of keep flip-flopping back and forth? It's so ridiculous, dude.
Frontier may start to chill investments. After all, is any major company going to invest their infrastructure into a technology that can't think, only predict according to what it thinks the answer is? Maybe not, if they're actually listening. The problem facing the AI market right now is that many of its top proponents are within a bubble. They're spending so much time with their fellow believers and with the AI technology itself that they can't see the warning signs. And
now the talk of the bubble, bro. Now the talk of the bubble. And you know what? I'm literally disproving that, bro. I'm literally disproving that by watching your video. So what now, right? Is there a bubble now that I'm actually listening to skeptics and trying to hear him out? Bro, if you're a skeptic and this is your guy, bro, you're cooked. if you're an AI skeptic and you use this guy's talking points, it's over, bro. Like you just thinking too small for me, bro. You're not being nuanced. You're not being realistic. It's fucking dumb, dude. So yeah, I mean, literally disproving that point right there. There's a fucking bubble of people just. Let's go back.
Right now is that many of its top proponents are within a bubble. They're spending so much time with their fellow believers and
they're spending so much time with their fellow believers. Many of the top proponents are in a bubble. What now? What now? I'm engaging with your criticism. I'm watching the video criticizing something that I do like and spend time using. What now? Am I still in that bubble? I at the beginning of the video, I emphasized I'm always looking out and I'm always trying to be skeptic. Not trying to be skeptic, but listening to skeptics. And I want to be more nuanced in my opinion. But when people's arguments are this flawed and they don't consider the actual realities of the fact that they want to paint a picture that they see, it pisses me off. It pisses me off. And you know, fact of the matter is, it is a nuanced technology, and it's not good, it's not bad. And we don't know where it's going. We don't know the capabilities of where it's headed. And every advancement progresses the capabilities of this technology. So coming out with blanket statements like AI enthusiasts are in a bubble, AI is not reasoning, and one study from last year showed that, even though this video literally came out today, referencing a study from a year ago, and didn't even mention Anthropic's rebuttal. We had to mention it. It's just ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. Like I'm trying to engage. I'm trying to be open-minded. Nobody can you can say I'm this, you can say I'm that, but you can't say I'm being closed-minded and I'm putting my head in the sand. I'm actively going out and trying to listen to criticism, but your criticism is just bad. It's just flawed. It just doesn't resonate with me. I can't. And again, I've been saying this a couple times this video. Go back and watch the other video I did just very recently about another AI skeptic, and I heard him out. I conceded some points to him. I agreed with him a lot more. So it's not that I'm just trying to bash AI critics. It's just that this specific video is just so flawed
with the AI technology itself that they can't see the warning signs. And that means they've built a house of cards that could collapse at any time. A bad report on the progress of a new AI model or a disaster caused by bad advice from one of the models could lead to a mass sell-off that would see the AI bubble burst. Countless companies lose everything, leading to the worst economic crisis since 2008. But that might not be the worst-case scenario. What keeps AI skeptics up at night is a world where AI adoption continues full speed ahead. Companies and governments heavily incorporate it into essential infrastructure, trusting it to make millions of decisions a day, and then something goes wrong. A stumbling block turns into a cascading series of events that could potentially crash the economy, the internet, or the power grid.
Bro, let's fearmonger some more, huh? Let's actually fearmonger and like make fucking people scared. Like, come on, dude. Come on, man.
As the AI tries to unscramble its flawed logic. And this is an all too realistic situation. After all, would you trust your country's power grid to a technology that still can't read an analog clock? Some sectors aren't waiting for AI to be perfect before deploying it. They're pushing ahead anyway. Governments are integrating AI into military planning, and the results are ominous. Find out what happens in 95% of AI war simulations end in total annihilation.
Bro, it's all right, bro. We know this guy argues in bad faith. No one is using Copilot because fucking bro, Copilot is too intrusive. That's the fact. They rolled it out too fast. It's too early. AI played a war game and nuked everyone. I bet it was the prompt was like, you gotta win by any fucking means. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just being a dick right now. I'm just being an asshole right now. Sorry. I didn't mean to poo on our friend here. But yeah, dude, I've been rambling on too long. Let me know what you guys think of this video. This got me heated. This got me heated. I will keep continuing to watch more and more skeptic videos, but this might have been my breaking point. This might have been me. I might just stop engaging with some skeptic material for a little bit, because it's just stupid. It's small-minded, and they look at things a certain way, and they don't allow for any nuance. It's always my point of view is right. This is what's gonna happen, and oh, you like it? Well, let me tell you why you're stupid for liking it. Let me tell you why you're on the side of the bad guys. You're on the side of the elite. You're on the side of this. You're on the side of that. Even though it's just literally a technology you're excited for, and you see the potential in it, and you see life getting better with it, and you're hopeful that life does get better with it. It's just like, if you have any hope, or if you have any positive thought, and you have any positive reaction towards AI, it's just like you're automatically like a bad person. It's like, all right, I get it. Yeah, that's just the way you want to frame people. It's fine. That's fair. I don't need to be engaging. And yeah, we're definitely taking a break from engaging with skeptic material. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with this guy? Do you guys agree with me? Any points that you want to rebuke? Any points that I brought up you want to rebuke? Let me know. See, I'm being polite, unlike some people. Yeah, leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Radio out.